Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe, Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaura Premanande, Jayam Shripada Paramahamsa, Privrajgacharya Stotara Satya, Sri Simar, His Divine Grace, Shilabhai Charanaravind Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, ISKCON BBT, Founder Acharyas Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda ki, Harinam Sankirtana ki, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jaini Thai Gauri Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakayam Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Śrī Caitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jita Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpa Tribhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Dharam Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayed. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamitam Uttama-shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasaya Namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva, It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Caitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Om Sarabhyai Namaha. Mukham karoti vācāram pāṅgum langayate girim yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinatarunam yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinatarunam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Saturday reading from Caitanya caritāmṛta. We are in the third chapter of Ādi-līlā, still relatively in the beginning portion. So we will recall how Ādi-līlā Ādi-līlā actually covers, of course, the first portion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes as the householder, and before actually describing some of those pastimes, the author Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is spending considerable amount of time establishing the identity, first of all, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And then that was in the second chapter. And in this third chapter, he is quoting from various shastras establishing the identity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is, from these various references, none different than Lord Krishna himself. So let's continue here from text. Oh, actually, yeah. We had heard about the Pratham Sandhya, talk about Sandhya, which is of Kali Yuga. So I'll just start with that, which is text 29. Eta bhavi kali kale prathama sandhyaya avartina hoila Krishna apani nadiyaya. Thinking thus, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself, descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Purport. The Pratham Sandhya is the beginning of the age. According to astronomical calculation, the age is divided into 12 parts. Yeah, 12 parts. Just like the day has 12 hours and the night has 12 hours. And that makes for 24. So the first of these 12 divisions is known as the Pratham Sandhya. And during a Sandhya, there are different gradual changes take place. The Pratham Sandhya and Sesha Sandhya. So the first, and at the end of Kali Yuga, there is Sesha Sandhya. The last division form the junction of the two ages. Okay, yeah. The Pratham Sandhya of a new age and Sesha Sandhya, the last division of the preceding age. Yeah. Form the junction of the two ages. According to the Surya Siddhanta, the Pratham Sandhya of the Kali Yuga lasts 36,000 solar years. I didn't quite calculate that yet, but that's what it is. Lord Chaitanya appeared in the Pratham Sandhya after 4,586 solar years. Because the Lord appeared in 1486, I believe. Text 30. Chaitanya Simhera Navadvipe Avatara Simhagriva Simhavirya Simhera Hunkara. Thus the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadvip. He has the shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and the loud voice of a lion. So be careful. Text 31. Se simha vasuk jivera hridaya kandare kalmasha dvirada nashi yanhara hunkare. Hare Krishna. Translation. May that lion be seated in the core of the heart of every living being. Thus, with his resounding roar, may he drive away one's elephantine vices. Vices. All the abhadras, which are the size of elephants. Text 32. Pratama Lilaya Tandra Vishwambhara Nama Bhakti Rase Bharila Dharila Bhuttagrama. In his early pastimes, he is known as Vishwambhar because he floods the world with water of devotion and thus saves the living beings. 33. Dubrin dhatura artha poshana dharana pushila dharila prema diya tribhuvana. The verbal root dubrin, which is the root, of the word Vishvambhar, indicates nourishing and maintaining. He, Lord Chaitanya, nourishes and maintains the three worlds by distributing love of God. Text 34. Shesha-līlāya dhare nama Śrī Krishna Caitanya. Se Krishna janaye saba vishva kaila dhanya. In his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Śrī Krishna Caitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Śrī Krishna. And Prabhupada gives a fairly long purport here. Lord Chaitanya remained a householder only until his 24th year had passed. Then he entered the renounced order and remained manifest in this material world until his 48th year. Therefore, Shesha-līlā, or the final portion of his activities, lasted 24 years. Of course, that will be explained possibly here. There is also Madhyam. Ādi-līlā, 24. Madhyam, 6 years, 24 to 30. And then Antya-līlā. But that is all referred to as Shesha-līlā. After taking sannyas from the age of 24, 24 plus 24 is 48. Yeah. Some so-called Vaishnavas say that the renounced order of life is not accepted in the Vaishnava Sampradaya, or disciplic succession from Lord Chaitanya. This is not a very intelligent proposal or proposition. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu took the sannyas order from Sripad Kesava Bharati, who belonged to the Shankara sect, which approves of only 10 names for sannyasis. Long before the advent of Sripad Shankaracharya, however, the sannyas order existed in the Vaishnava line of Vishnu Swami. In the Vishnu Swami Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are 10 different kinds of sannyas names and 108 different names for sannyasis who accept the Tri-danda, the triple staff of sannyas. This is approved by the Vedic rules. Therefore, Vaishnava sannyas was existent even before the appearance of Shankaracharya. Although those who know nothing about Vaishnava sannyas unnecessarily declare that there is no sannyas in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. During the time of Lord Chaitanya, the influence of Shankaracharya in society was very strong. People thought that one could accept sannyas only in the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya. Lord Chaitanya could have performed his missionary activities as a householder, but he found householder life an obstruction to his mission. Therefore, he decided to accept the renounced order, sannyas. Since his acceptance of sannyas was also designed to attract public attention, Lord Chaitanya, not wishing to disturb the social convention, took the renounced order of life from a sannyasi in the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya. Although sannyas was also sanctioned in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. So as Prabhupada explains, 500 years ago, the Mayavad sannyas, Shankaracharya teachings were more prominent. But Prabhupada earlier explained how people were unaware that actually even before Shankaracharya there were Vaishnava sannyasis, because the teachings, Vaishnava teachings, are eternal teachings. Lord Vishnu is eternal. Therefore, those who are followers of Lord Vishnu are known as Vaishnavas. And the Varnas are also eternal. So there's always been brahmacharis, grihastas, vanaprasthas, and sannyas. So Prabhupada continues giving a bit more information on the Shankara Sampradaya. In the Shankara Sampradaya, there are 10 different names awarded to sannyasis: Tirtha, Ashram, Vana, Aranya, Giri, Parvata, Sagar, Saraswati, Bharati, and Puri. Before one enters sannyas, he has one of the various names of a brahmachari, the assistant of a sannyasi. Sannyasis with the titles Tirtha and Ashram generally stay at Dwarka, and their brahmachari name is Swarup. Those known by the names of Vana and Aranya stay at Purushottama or Jagannath Puri, and their brahmachari name is Prakash. Those with the names Giri, Parvata, and Sagar generally stay at Badarikashram, and their brahmachari name is Ananda. Those with the titles Saraswati, Bharati, and Puri usually live at Sringeri very close to SSKBK, in South India. And their brahmachari name is what? Chaitanya. Chaitanya. So Chaitanya is closest to us. Sringeri. Sripad Shankaracharya established 4 monasteries in India in the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. And he entrusted them to 4 sannyasis who were his disciples. Now there are hundreds of branch monasteries under these 4 principal monasteries. And although there is an official symmetry among them, there are many differences in their dealings. The 4 different sects of these monasteries are known as Anandavada, Bhogavada, Kitavada, and Bhumivada. And in course of time, they have developed different ideas and different slogans. According to the regulation of the disciplic succession, one who wishes to enter the renounced order in Shankara sect must first be trained as a brahmachari under a bona fide sannyasi. The brahmachari's name is ascertained according to the group to which the sannyasi belongs. Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyas from Keshava Bharati. When he first approached Keshava Bharati, he was accepted as a brahmachari with the name Śrī Caitanya Brahmachari. After he took sannyas, he preferred to keep the name Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Radhar, Srivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And the last portion of the purport, the great authorities in the disciplic succession had not offered to explain why Lord Chaitanya refused to take the name Bharati after he took sannyas from a Bharati, until Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj volunteered the explanation that because a sannyasi in the Shankara Sampradaya thinks that he has become the supreme, Lord Chaitanya, wanting to avoid such a misconception, kept the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya, placing himself as an eternal servitor. A brahmachari is supposed to serve the spiritual master. Therefore, he did not negate that relationship of servitude to his spiritual master. Accepting such a position is favorable for the relationship between the disciple and the spiritual master. Venus. Not, yeah. Who is telling? Arundhati? Somebody told him. So Venus. Yeah, very bright. And the last short paragraph of the purport, the authentic biographies also mention that Lord Chaitanya accepted the danda, rod, and begging pot, symbolic of the sannyas order, at the time he took sannyas. But there's a whole lila later on that will be in connection with the danda. We know how Lord Nityananda Prabhu did not like the idea of Lord Chaitanya carrying a danda or having a danda. It also mentions in that whole lila that it is very mysterious as to why exactly Nityananda Prabhu broke that danda. So if Lord Chaitanya accepted the sannyas order from Shankara, that means that danda was ekadanda. I've not read very much on this, so I won't explain much more. But we'll see when we get to that particular pastime. So according to the social custom at the time, Lord Chaitanya accepted the formal symbols of sannyas, which is danda and begging pot. Okay, continuing, text 35. Tandra yuga avatara jani garga mahashayam krishnera nama karane kariyache nirnaya. Knowing him, Lord Chaitanya, to be the incarnation for the Kali Yuga, Gargamuni, during the naming ceremony of Krishna, predicted his appearance. And this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Asan varnastrayo yasya grinato no yugam tanum shuklo raktas tata pita idanim krishnatam gataha. Translation: this boy, Krishna, has 3 other colors, white, red, and yellow, as he appears in different ages. Now he has appeared in the transcendental blackish color from the 10th canto, 8th chapter, text 13 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is in reference to Krishna. Text 37. Shukla rakta pitavarna etin dyuti satyatreta kali kali dharena sripati. Translation: white, red, and yellow, these are the 3 bodily lusters that the Lord, the husband of the goddess of fortune, assumes in the ages of Satya, Treta, and Kali, respectively. Idanin dvapare tinho haila Krishna varna esab shastragama punanera marma. Now in the Dwapara Yuga, the Lord has descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements in the Puranas and other Vedic literatures with reference to the context. And next verse is another reference from the Bhagavatam. Dvapare Bhagavan Shyama pitavasa nija yudham Śrī vatsadibhir ankascha lakshanar upalakshitaham. In the Dwapara Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow. He holds his own weapon, and he is decorated with the Kaustubha jewel and marks of Srivatsa. This is how his symptoms are described. This is a verse from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5, text 27, spoken by Saint Karabhajana, one of the 9 royal mystics who explained to King Nimi the different features of the Lord in different ages. Kali Yuge Yuga Dharma Namera Prachar Tati Lagi Pitavarna Chaitanya Avatar. The religious practice for the age of Kali is to broadcast the glories of the holy name. Only for this purpose has the Lord, in a yellow color, golden color, descended as Lord Chaitanya. Purport. In this age of Kali, the practical system of religion for everyone is the chanting of the name of Godhead. This was introduced in this age by Lord Chaitanya. Bhakti Yoga actually begins with the chanting of the holy name, as confirmed by Madhvacharya in his commentary on the Mundaka Upanishad. He quotes this verse from the Narayana Samhita. Dvapariyar Janair Vishnu Pancharatrais Tukevalai Kalo Tunama Matrena Pujate Bhagavan Harihi. Translation: in the Dwapara Yuga, people should worship Lord Vishnu only by the regulative principles of the Narada Pancharatra and other such authorized books. In the age of Kali, however, people should simply chant the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. End of quote. The Hare Krishna mantra is specifically mentioned in many Upanishads, such as the Kali Santarana Upanishad, where it is said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, iti shodasakam namnam, Kali kalma sanashanam, nata parataropaya, sarva vedeshu drishyate. After searching through all the Vedic literatures, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for this age than the chanting of Hare Krishna. Taptahema samakanti prakanda sarira nabamega jini kantha Dvani ye gambhira. Translation to text 41. The luster of his expansive body resembles molten gold. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thundering of newly assembled clouds. Dairgya vistare ye apanara hata Charihastahaya Mahapurusha Vidyata. One who measures 4 cubits in height and in breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality. You can test yourself later on. With your own hand, not somebody else's hand. One who measures 4 cubits in height and breadth by his own hand. What's a cubit? Yeah, we have to find out what a cubit is. Nyagrodha parimandala hai tandranama. Nyagrodha parimandala tanu Chaitanya gunadhama. Such a person with those measurements, with those cubits measurements, such a person is called Nyagrodha parimandala. Nyagrodha parimandala. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has the body of a Nyagrodha parimandala. Short purport. No one other than the Supreme Personality or the Supreme Lord Himself, who has engaged the conditioned souls by His own illusory energy, can possess these bodily features. These features certainly indicate an incarnation of Vishnu and no one else. I mean, we hear, like in this reference, the bodily features of Lord Chaitanya. Close to 7 feet high. And his arms elongated. I can't, I think maybe touching his knees. So naturally, just when we see a tall person, we look up, and when that tall person puts his 2 hands up, we look up even more. It must have been just a sight in itself to have darshan of a Neo Grodha Parimandala. Oh, here we go. I made a mistake. More details about the bodily features coming up here. Text 44. Ajanulambita bhuja kamalalochana tila fula jini nasa sudhamshu vadana. His arms are long enough to touch his knees. I mean, that's long. Just stand up. Your arms are not touching your knees. Yeah. Yeah. And he's tall. Yeah. Okay, you can sit down. So whenever we see someone standing up whose fingers are touching his knees, then it's quite rare. His arms are long enough to touch his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower. And his face is as beautiful as the moon. So naturally, one will be attracted. Shanta Danta Krishna Bhakti Nista Parayana Bhaktavatsala Sushila Sarva Bhute Sama. He is peaceful, self-controlled, and fully devoted to the transcendental service of Lord Sri Krishna. He is affectionate toward his devotees. He is gentle, and he is equally disposed toward all living entities, all living beings. Yeah. I'll just finish here one or two. Chandanera Angala Chandana Bhushana Nritya Kale Pari Karena Krishna Sankirtana. He is decorated with sandalwood bangles and armlets, and anointed with the pulp of sandalwood. Have you seen sandalwood bangles? He especially wears these decorations to dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Esa Baguna Lana Muni Sampayana Sahasraname Koila Tandra Nama Ganana. Recording all these qualities of Lord Chaitanya, the sage, Vaisampayana included his name in the Vishnu Sahasrama. So we will keep, we'll begin at text actually the last one we'll read here is 48, because 49 has a long purport we'll keep for next week. So finishing here with text 48. Ādi-līlā Caitanyera Ādi-ārsesha Ādi-līlāya Chari Chari Nama Vishesha. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have two divisions: the early pastimes, Ādi-līlā, and the later pastimes, Sesha-līlā. He has four names in each. He has four names in each of these two Leelas. We have to tune in next week to find out the 4 names, 8 names. Yeah. Okay. Jai Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki. Jai Śrī Prabhupada ki.
Solemn as Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj ki.